Welcome back, guys, to another episode of No Place for Bullshit. I am your host. This is my co-host. She may be the host, I may be the co-host. Who knows? Ladarius Thomas, neighborhood fool. Teresa Thomas, marriage and family therapist. We here to talk about some shit we don't want to talk about. I want to make sure I pronounce her name right. I'm hoping that I am pronouncing her name right. Miss Shanquella Robinson. Everybody has heard this story by now. Miss Shanquella Robinson and 6 other friends went down to Mexico. I want to say Cancun. Do not quote me on that. Nonetheless, she ended up dead. What's wild about this story is everybody in the world can see how she died. This woman and however many of the friends are in the hotel room. She is not dressed. She is completely naked. And one of the friends is recording already. And another friend begins to fight and beat on her, even though she's not, from what we saw from the video footage, we saw she's not even fighting back. She doesn't appear to want to fight. Now, I don't know what happened before we got to that footage, or if there is any more camera footage available. But what we did see was this young lady completely in the nude fighting a completely dressed woman. So this was definitely premeditated and opportunistic. I mean, you waited till this woman didn't have on any clothes, any shoes, or anything to begin to assault this woman in this capacity. Nonetheless, this woman wasn't trying to fight. She was in no condition to fight. You don't fight. So these are the things that go through my mind instantly, where I'm going, okay, whatever story you guys come up with is going to be hard to believe. Me, I'm just going to say, you're a fucking lie. You're a piece of shit. Nobody tries to fight you when they butt ass naked. I've never been in a fight or attempted to fight butt ass naked, because why? It's just a very compromising position to be in. Further than that, whilst they were engaging in the fight, she wasn't fighting back. She wasn't cursing. She wasn't yelling. All she was able to do was just kind of sit back and kind of cry. And potentially part of the reason she wasn't fighting back is because she was injured as well, because they ended up being life-threatening injuries. So I think that these people deserve to be called out by name. 100%, no ifs, ands, or buts. The 6 people that attended the trip with her, this friend's vacation or whatever it may have been. We got 6 names. We got Khalil Coke, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hart, Dejanay Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins. Thank you, Elise Hyatt. And those are the 6 names again: Khalil Cook, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Dejanay Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins. These were the 6 people that we know were identified as being with Miss Shanquella Robinson the day that this pathetic, horrific, cowardice, tragic act of violence occurred. So if you're following along on Basic PME, you'll see that there's at this point there's just 2 videos, but I'm just working on a project called The Culture Kills. The Culture Kills is just the bullshit that black people do and stick beside, and how it literally has destroyed and killed our true culture, who we really are, our true essence as a people. This is a byproduct of the fucking culture. We fight about everything. I can't sit here and say sincerely that Miss Shanquella Robinson was 100% innocent in this entire thing. I can't even say that she wasn't the antagonist, but it doesn't have to come to death. I don't care. Like, what could she have said for you to beat her to death? Literally. And we don't even know if others jumped in, because at the point where the camera cut off, she's not dead and she's not dying. So again, we don't even know if after this camera cut off, others jumped in. So whether this was an act from one person or multiple people. And then you lie. Then you lie. This is the culture. Fix everything through a fight. I'm gonna show that bitch. I'm gonna set this bitch up. Oh yeah. Put your camera on. Get ready to record this. Cause why do people need to see you perform your acts of violence? So you can be a real bitch, or you can be a real nigga. So they can know that you are. I am not the one. So they can know that you a big stepper. Huh? Like, what's it worth? And when the fuck does it end? At what point do you just sit back and say, you know what, enough is enough? Like, this is ignorant. This is black culture. This is black culture. This comes from rap music and black television, black sitcoms, black movies. We act this ignorant in those shows and in those songs. And then the people that perform this performative arts, they put this shit out from their villa, from their suite, from their mansion with their bodyguards and eating fruits that are hand dipped in chocolate and put in their mouth for them. They probably don't even have to fucking chew if they don't want to. These are millionaire Negroes, the weakest of the black community, being paid a check to tell you to do ignorant, animalistic shit, and you follow through on it. The culture absolutely fucking kills. It left me disgusted. The thing is, and then I'm gonna pass the mic along. With me, like, you'll get to see, like, nothing surprises me, and I don't put anything past anybody, and I'm rarely surprised. I'm probably like, damn, they did that, but I'm still not surprised. I can say, damn, like, I wasn't expecting that, but to say I'm surprised that an act happens in 2022 where people do everything for clout, our mental health is not on the verge of collapsing, our mental health has collapsed. We live in an environment that is not conducive to human health, both physically and mentally. So knowing those things, nothing really shocks me. This shit surprised me because you had the nuts. You didn't just fight her. You broke her neck and her spine. You broke her neck and her spine in a fight. At what point, even if you were going to be the ignorant nigga and record it and brag on it and be braggadocious and all this other stupid shit that encompasses this nasty, dumb nigga culture. At what point do you say, I gotta stop? This is too much. See, we think that we consume the culture, but the culture consumed you. We think we consume the culture, but the culture consumed you because you didn't even have a fucking off switch from your popularity video. And I really don't have much more before I get to calling y'all just all types of reckless, wild names, because I don't like either of the 6 people in there. Because the men, you could have easily stepped in and break it up, but it sounded like a really feminine dude on the phone recording. And he probably thought he was just as lady as the ladies that were fighting. And you should have got your stupid ass in between the middle of them and said, hey, even if she has wronged you, that's enough. And the women in there, they are not at all any less accountable for this shit, because damn it, it ain't 2 men fighting. If 2 men are fighting, you stay your woman ass out of the way. You do not want to be injured by these 2 dudes in here moving furniture. Those are 2 women. And yes, you can be injured by one of those women, but you have a much greater chance of success of breaking this up and avoiding some bullshit from happening. All of y'all were in on it. Please stop. I'll just say this because the rest will come out eventually. I'll just say this. Black people, please stop. Stop consuming the culture and stop backing bullshit like this, because it's, at what point do we get to the final straw? Thoughts?
I don't know. This is difficult for me to talk about, but I will say that, you know, a lot of what I've been seeing as a reflection or a response of hearing about her death is kind of this idea of, okay, you shouldn't trust everybody. You can't trust your friends. You shouldn't call everybody your friend and things like that. And while I definitely understand, the premise behind, hey, the people who are in your life, if you say that you trust someone, or if there's, just that label of friend or family, whoever it is, that you want to know who they are. You want to know the quality of a person that is around you. And so, yeah, you should have a standard. You should, inquire or kind of assess that, so to speak. But there is no way There's no way that anyone could ever know that people could do something like this um, to you, right? Like the people around you, even your worst enemy. Like, I just don't, I don't think that that's what this situation is all about. Not that part of it. Now, that's not the only thing that I've seen, but that's just one thing that I would say. I would comment to say, it's not about, oh, you should, be what's the word, like paranoid of people, or that you should not trust anyone, or that you should become hard yourself because you don't want to, anyone to hurt you. I think it's more, yeah, we have to have, like you said, a serious look at who we are, what our limits are, how we respond to situations, because I don't know anything about the people who were involved, but I would assume that, yeah, like you mentioned, that there was a space where this moment of, am I doing this, or is this just happening? Or within your mind, or within the intensity of the room and a situation, like that things could have definitely just felt like, oh, a blink of an eye, and now it's happened. But that also means that there is that's a clear reflection of your own inability to think about what you're doing, your actions, to, like you said, kind of moderate yourself, to hold yourself accountable. Like there's just there's no way to spin it other than that none of those people are healthy people, because now you are watching that, you're in the room and you are recording it, to the point where now you're watching it in a way where you're trying to focus so much on it that it's like you're desensitized to what's happening. Because for this person to say, oh, at least fight back, it's almost like, I want to make this a better video, I want this to be entertainment, not, oh, I want my friend to, no, there is no other. It was, I'm recording in this, so I need a good fight, so to speak. Like, you a ringleader or some shit.
Happens in a blink of an eye, though? Like the blink of an eye, you can keep. I just want to touch on what you said, because you did mention the blink of an eye. What happens in the blink of an eye is, I worked third shift, and I just pulled a 14-hour shift, and I fell asleep while I was driving, and I wrecked. You know what I mean? Like, I got into a serious car wreck.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
And uh, you know, you took your eye off your child for 2 minutes, and they got hurt, they failed, or they did whatever, they did something that they weren't supposed to be doing. Those are mistakes that happen in the blink of an eye, with only one, maybe two adults, the parents present. 5 entire human adults being present and available to change the situation speaks about the character and the morals of the people available, because there was nothing accidental about this. Even if this had happened off camera, with 5 human adults available, this should never fucking happen.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that there is like you said, there's definitely a humanness that comes into play of, like, hey, what type of human are you? Let alone friend, just what type of human are you? Again, what do you ingest? How are you desensitized to harm, to physical violence, in that way that you are actually inflicting it, but that you're also watching it, recording it, egging it on, or whatever else. Like, that is child behavior. And it's also, again, I think it's just something that you have to check yourself about. Like, and like you were mentioning, the idea of culture, right? And how, to me, the biggest thing is that there isn't a clear value of Black lives, right? And it's so crazy, because there was this whole movement around Black Lives Matter, and just that irony, is that we listen to, and not me personally, because I had to turn the radio off like years ago, but like the culture listens to and ingests and creates music that consistently devalues Black life. And now it's not even about, is this a friend or not? Is this a family member or not? Is this a nothing? This is it this human? life
The
is in
one that
front
I
of
will go
me.
to a march for and march up and down the street with my black fist held in there. Pump your black fist. King, queen. I'm going to touch on this in a second because I'm going to get too worked up to stop talking. I'm sorry. Finish your point.
It's okay. You get excited, but I think it's something to be passionate about because it's wild. Like it's ridiculous, and I think that there's so much in front of our eyes that we are just glazed over. Like I don't know. Like you said, it takes you into this like space where it's like a black hole, a vortex of like what is going on. So that's really all I really had to say about the matter. It is a horrible tragedy, and I think there's a lot of lessons to take from it. But I do think that just this idea of like not using this as an example as to why you shouldn't trust people, but more of why you as a person should have a personal standard just being, and whether that's to your friends, to your family, to your strangers, to your children, whoever it is, like take a look in the mirror and think, okay, even though I'm judging these people, could I have been one of those 6 people who just didn't do anything? Right. Is there something about violence and people fighting that I, in some ways, enjoy? Right. Like it, because we have to check that, because as humans, we can absolutely be engulfed in I can't take my eyes off of this experience of it all. And so then again, it's that moment of, okay, are we checking ourselves? Are we holding ourselves accountable for what we do allow ourselves to ingest and just put in front of ourselves or our children or whoever it is? And that's my biggest thing. It's like, it's more than just, can't trust everybody, don't go on a trip with everybody. It's not that. This woman is no longer here, right? Like her life is gone because of many different factors, but those are a few, right, of my comments. And my heart is heavy. It's hurting for her family, and it's wild.
Yeah, and it's just the culture. You reference some things, but at the end of the day, like, do you enjoy watching the battle royale against black on black? That's the culture. You're not going on World Star Hip Hop, and World Star Hip Hop ain't putting white folks fighting all the damn time up there. They putting Negroes fight because they know Negroes want to watch Negroes fight. Responsible adults, responsible humans, when they want to see a fight, they go to a boxing match or they go to a UFC fight. They go to YouTube and they type in Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield, Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. Shanquella Robinson's death is 100% on the hands of black culture, because all of the people involved, I can 100% without any shadow of doubt, are deeply engulfed and ingrained in black culture. From being taught violence, from getting not spankings and tappings, but getting your ass beat at the age of 3, being a human being that doesn't even have the ability to decipher very much that is right and wrong. You get your ass beat as a kid. Then in the sixth grade, at 6 years old, 7 years old, the first time you come home and tell your mom or dad or both, I'm being bullied. And the response from your black ass parent is, you better beat their ass. Don't you come home crying and telling me. Don't you tell me that nobody's bullying you. You come home crying again, I'm going to beat your ass. You better beat their ass. From your big cousin, big brother being physically abusive, not teasing you and picking on you, things like that, but putting their hands on you in the name of making you tougher. Teach me how to fight. Teach me how to fight. Don't fight me. You have misplaced anger, and our mother, father, grandmother, and grandfather, aunts and uncles haven't done anything about it, and they continually allowed you to take it out on me in the name of, those are just kids fighting. There's a limit to that shit. There's a limit to that. It's one punch here and there. It's a tussle, a fight for the remote control, wrestling, because I want to watch Cartoon Network and you want to watch sports. It's not a fucking fight to the death. But when you consistently taught this shit through your childhood, through your formative years, through your adolescence, all the way into your adulthood, and it never stops, it never changes. Excuse me. When it's backed up by the television you watch, them 50, 60-year-old women on Real Housewives, they just fight like cats and dogs. Bunch of old ass women fighting, looking like some damn fools. Them old ass men on TV that wear skinny jeans and nut huggers and purses and shit. Them men up there 50 some years old, 60 years old, acting a goddamn fool. Loving hip hop. Geriatrics. Y'all are y'all got senior citizen cards. Up here acting like some goddamn fools. The culture. You turn on. Every time I see a 30 plus, 40 plus year old person talking about NBA YoungBoy, I automatically go, you go in the shit bucket. Call it what you want. Call me what you want for speaking. I don't want to read the rest of your fucking book. How the fuck are you telling me that your developed adult mind hears this shit and you don't hear a fucking problem? You don't hear a problem. How do you allow? There's grown ass men and women, black men and women. This is a black issue, and you allow your children to listen to NBA YoungBoy, Kodak Black, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. Are you out of your fucking mind? And where I really get angry, and where I was going earlier onto that tangent, is you then have the nerve to turn around and say protect black women. The music calls these black women bitches and hoes repeatedly, nonstop, every fucking day of the week. There's a rapper finding a new way to call a black woman a bitch, a thought, a hoe. They finding a new fucking way to call a black woman out of her name. These rappers. And you embrace it. You rap every fucking word, and you rap it with your kids in the backseat. Every day of the week. Now, the new trend is women every day of the week are finding a way to get their lick back and degrade men in the same capacity. A munch? It's funny, but it's just degrading. It's degradation. It's nonstop. How do you listen to this music and then go to the Black Lives Matters march? How is that possible? How do you, in your mind, in your conscious mind, with everything you know, walk out of listening to that music in the parking lot, getting ready to go to the march, throw your fist up and say Black Lives Matter? Who gave you that much nerve? How is it possible to be that big of a hypocrite to, through your entire week, have a complete and blatant disregard for black lives, male and female, boy and girl, grandma and grandpa, and expect sympathy from the rest of the world for people that you degrade every day? The culture is horrible. The culture is trash. And we're going to have to decide that we're going to incorporate a new black culture before we see changes in behavior and the expressions of what black culture actually is. Guys, nonetheless, we had a micro mini pimp walkthrough, and that was good because I think that child just kind of broke up the emotion that was getting ready to happen, the emotional explosion. I don't get emotional about a lot, damn it, but when we get to talking about stuff like that, just the pure ignorance and disregard for ourselves as black people, only to go and cry out to the rest of the world for help, sympathy, empathy. Oh, please. I don't really got no tolerance for that. Look, NPFBS, no place for bull stuff. I have a very low tolerance for that. So, it's us. And this is how you end up with a 25-year-old woman on a vacation out of the country unalived. This is how that happens. Because products of the culture are behaving animalistic every single day. We see it on social media all day, every day. And the culture is 100% accountable for the death of Shanquella Douglas. And I don't want to talk no more. That's all I got. Do better. Y'all suck. For the people participating in that, y'all suck. Do better.
Tomatoes.
And rest peacefully if you can, Miss Shanquella Robinson. If you want to get your lick back and you want to haunt some people, go ahead, please. Like, I really want you to get your lick back, because even if you were the antagonist, you didn't deserve that. So if you want to just be spooktacular and just drive everybody crazy, do your thing, baby. Please. And to the family, to the friends, y'all know she didn't deserve that, and there's nothing we could say to soothe it. Get some counseling, get some therapy. You just went through an extreme piece of trauma. The death and destruction of black people is nothing that should just be like but it shouldn't be like a feather in the wind. It shouldn't just blow by for us. And we've been taught to treat death just like, oh man, we're used to it. You grew up in the hood, but that's trauma. And this trauma touches directly to home with some person that you were expecting to arrive back in Charlotte, North Carolina of the United States in the exact same physical capacity that they left. And this person came back in a bag. I'm done.
I have nothing.
No place for bias. Rest in power. Shanquella Davis, Ladarius Thomas, Teresa Thomas. We'll catch y'all on the flip with more interesting topics. Thank y'all for putting up with us, man. You're going to be able to catch us on Anchor, Spotify, and also Apple Podcasts. But that's it. NPFBS, husband and wife duo, doing our thing. We love y'all, and we out.